Yo, what's up? Welcome back to the Haunted Basement Studio. I'm your host, Triple B, and today we are going to be talking about monsters from Mark Spears. This is the Free Comic Book Day, issue number 0. I believe they're on issue number 4 right now, so this is going to maybe get you caught up. It has a little bit of a story of what's going on in it, and before we get to the recap of it, I'm going to tell you a little bit of my thoughts about this one. Man, so this book has a clown in it, and it is pretty creepy. It makes you wonder why people don't like clowns. We get introduced to a clown called Funny Bones, and he meets this little tiny girl, Lilith, outside of a hardware store where her mom's inside. And you already know where this is going. It's going to be an abduction story. He's going to tell her all about a carnival that has all sorts of goodies, candy apples, cotton candy, fun rides, and all sorts of chaos that could happen there. And so he lures her away from the hardware store by saying that he was looking for a friend. They all come in, different shapes and sizes, tall ones and even small ones like little Lily right here. And so he convinces her to go ahead and come over to the carnival. And so that's what's going on. I'm like, oh my God, this is creepy. Little girls getting abducted. We don't like that at all in real life. So the story in this one is downright creepy as hell. And now let's talk about the art in this one. The art is phenomenal. Great colors in this one. Great drawing by Mark Spears. He knows exactly what he's doing. The vibrant colors in this one just brings you in, and the realistic look on the clown's face and Lily is absolutely stunning. So Mark Spears is killing it with the illustration in this one. And now let's talk about the story in this one. It is pretty original, but not really, man. We definitely get some Pennywise vibes in this one, spooky killer clowns in this one, and Art the Clown from Terrifier. Why do these clowns always want to seem to eat people? But you know what? All right, let's now really talk about this whole book. Let's recap it. So spoilers from here on out. All right, man, so if we're going to do this right, hit the lights right there. So we see a clown standing across the street holding a balloon. And as you slowly get these close-ups to his face, you see that he is looking across the street. And he says, oh, wow, there's a little girl right there. So he walks up to her and says, well, hello, my name is Mr. Funny Bones. And she looks up at him and says, why are you so sad, clown? Aren't clowns supposed to be happy? And he says, I am so sad because I can't seem to find my friend. I have many different friends, some of them with polka dots, some of them can be a big pink elephant, and some of them can be just little with a bow in their hair, just like you. And she's like, hee hee, maybe I am your friend. And he says, of course you are, Lily. And you know what? Lily is a great name for a friend. Now tell me, friend Lily, would you like a balloon? It just so happens I have one right here. And she says, yes, please. And he says, now, this isn't just any balloon, friend Lily. This balloon is special, very special. And she looks up at him and says, why is it so special? And then he looks down at her and says, it's been the most fantastic place on earth, Clown Town, but this little balloon is a bit mischievous. You see, it will float away faster than a giggle unless you promise to hold on to it with all of your strength. We wouldn't want a little balloon to wander off and get lost out there, would we? And right then and there, man, that is creepy as hell because, man, he's talking about that little balloon as a girl. We don't want no little girl wandering off and getting lost. So he's telling this little girl to hold on to the balloon when you know that he's planning on taking her to this clown carnival. And now Lily looks up at him and says, my mom's in the hardware store. She told me not to wander off far. And the clown looks at her and says, oh, the wonder of a little wander. But I bet she didn't mean Clown Town. Because you don't wander to Clown Town. It's closer than you think. Just a short walk down the street and into the woods. That's hardly far at all. Now, don't forget, hold tight to the string. And oh my God, this is how the abduction starts, man. He's going to tell her, let's go to Clown Town. And he gives her a balloon. And it's not that far. Oh no, Lily, do not go. And now the last thing we want to hear is Lily say, "Can you take me to Clown Town?" And as the clown looks down at her and says, "Oh, absolutely I can. In fact, it's what I live for. Clown Town just a hop, skip, and a jump away. It's a place like no other, busting with colors, chaos, and a little bit of magic. And lucky for you, my friend Lily, you arrived just in time to experience it all." And now, as he takes her hand, they start to walk off. Lily says, "My mom says she won't take long, so I can't be gone too long." And he says, "Don't worry, we'll be back before your mom even knows it." And now, as they're walking through the streets to get to Clown Town, he says to her that, there's so many great things to eat there: candy apples, cotton candy, and so much great things. You know what the best part is? You get to meet the king clown, and he's gonna be so happy to have you for dinner. Wait, what did he just say? He can't wait to have you for dinner? No, not over for dinner, but eat you for dinner. Man, these clowns, man, they love to eat little girls. And now, as they make it into the woods, he says, "We are almost there. I can hear the music, can't you?" And she says, "No, I can't hear the music, but I can smell something. I can smell some food." And then he looks down at her and says, "Oh, my mouth is watering. Thinking of all the delicious, tasty treats waiting makes me just want to go ahead and just take a little nibble right now." And she looks at up him and says, "Silly, you can't take a bite. There isn't anything to eat yet." And then now all of a sudden the clown's eyes start to glow, and she looks up at him and says, "Funny Bone, why are your eyes glowing red?" And right then and there, as the clown is starting to drool, a gun gets pushed up to the back of his head, and he's like, "Oh my God, I thought you were dead." And we pull back, and it is a slayer. And now, with a gun pressed up to his head, Funny Bone says, "It's been a long time, Slayer. What, 13 years? What do you want with me?" And he says, "I want some information." And now, with the Slayer holding a gun up to his head, he says, "A friend of mine is missing, and I think Jackal knows what happened to her, but he has suddenly disappeared as well." "Sounds like that's a you problem you got there, Slayer. Nothing to do with me." "Listen up, you creepy cannibal carnival clown. I think you owe me a few favors from back in the day when I let you live a lot longer than I should have. But don't worry, I can rectify that now if I need to." And now he looks down at Lily and says, "Why don't you go ahead and run off now, Lily? Me and this old man have some business we got to attend to." And she looks up at him and says, "What about Clown Town? And what is a cannibal?" "Your mom is waiting outside the woods, Lily. Your mom has been looking for you. Now go." "Creepy cannibal carnival clown? Thanks for the IP, Slayer. I might have to use that. And what's with the gun to the back of my head? You know bullets can't hurt clowns. So what's stopping me from turning around and tearing you in half?" "A little something called laughing rounds. These bullets were forged with a rare orb that absorbs the sound of laughter. One shot to the head or chest, no more clown." "Well, oh, that's just great. If I just spill the beans, the king clown's just gonna kill me." And he says, "You know what? You tell me what I need to know, and I will give you 2 rounds of these laughing bullets, and then I can get one step closer to solving my problem, and you as well." And now Funny Bone tells him that Jackal has been dealing a debt with Fat Tony, that he should go see him. And he says, "Now that the deal is made, give me my bullets." And the Slayer looks at him and shoots 2 bullets right into Funny Bone's legs. As he starts screaming, he's like, "What are you doing?" He says, "Don't worry, they're not going to kill you. You have your bullets now. Now you can dig them out." He's like, "Well, at least give me a knife." He says, "Use your fingertips. You were going to eat that little girl, so you can dig them out with your own hands." And as the Slayer walks away, Funny Bone starts digging out the bullets and says, "I ain't done with you yet, Slayer." And as he gets the bullets out of his leg, he walks up to Clown Town. And now Funny Bone walks up to the clown boss and he says, "Where's my supper?" He says, I had her, boss, but she slipped through my hands because a slayer showed up." And the boss says, "Oh, really? That's what your excuse is? You didn't bring me my supper. You didn't eat her yourself, did you? And just for that, you can use your own tongue to clean up all the toilets here in Clown Town because you have a filthy tongue and you went ahead and ate my supper. So this is what you're gonna do. After you get done licking up all the toilets with your tongue, you're gonna do it again." And then all of a sudden, Funny Bones pulls out his gun with the laughing bullets in it and shoots the boss right in his stomach. And as the laughing bullets hits him, he dies. And Funny Bones is super happy, saying he is the new king of Clown Town. And he is saying, "Time to spread the word. There's a new, more fantastic king in town." And then all of a sudden, this female creature shows up, and Funny Bones says to her, "I want a piece of the Slayer. He shot me in the leg, so bring me one of his hands. I don't care which one, left or right. Hell, you can even play any, mini, miny, mo if you want." And then she says something to him that we don't even understand. And he says to her, "Good, this makes sure it's extra delicious." The end. All right, man. Now I'm back with my final thoughts of this issue. Man, apparently it's called Monsters for a reason, dude. Thank God no little girls or little kids were eaten in this issue. They got away. But man, that is creepy as hell. I thought it was pretty good. Maybe gonna have like a little bit, like I said, of an it type of vibe, clowns wanting to eat people in it. But it leaves us like kind of on a cliffhanger. I mean, why did the Slayer let Funny Bones go? And then who is this other entity that shows up out of the blue that we don't know what she's speaking, wanting to go help find the Slayer, maybe a Slayer hunter, right? And so there's something going to be going down. Like I said, I haven't read 1 through 4. I've got issues, 2 through 4 coming in so I can read them. Issue number 1's kind of hard to find because it's pretty expensive, but I think this is definitely a jumping on point for Mark Spears' Monsters. Man, I'm going to go ahead and rank this one. I'm going to go ahead and give it, we'll give it an 8 out of 10, because the story wasn't too original. That's the reason why it wasn't higher. But the art in it was phenomenal. The payoff was pretty good. It was really suspenseful when it comes to having, little kids getting abducted. You don't want them to get hurt and you want them to get returned to their family, which is what in this issue seems happens because the Slayer shows up. But if the Slayer didn't show up, that girl was for supper. Oh man, creepy as hell. Pretty scary book right there. But definitely, I am on board with this series. I can't wait to get them to read them, and I can't wait to keep on buying the new issues as they come out and reading them as well, man. So cool. Tell me, y'all, in the comment section below, if you guys have read this or if you haven't, and maybe you watch this and now you want to jump on to this series, Monsters from Mark Spears. Go ahead and do that, man. All right, dude. Triple B's out of Haunted Basement Studio. I want you guys to remember one thing. You keep it haunted. Comics. Later.